T black jewelry. I know I stand out, I don't need a try for it. Jack a limelight is you, I'm thinking, hey, quick, tell them catch me if you can, I'm some gingerbread. Oh, I never ride solo, it's me and my chick looking like slow-mo.
Yo, guys, what's going on? It's Vince down in Tampa. As always, we're keeping it rolling. And I got Lori, the Ice Fetrick, because I sprechen Sie Deutsch. She's coming on the show today out from Cali. But, before I get into it and get with the guests, I wanted to give a little context here. At the end of the 70s, the hippie age and the Iggy Pop and the Twiggy, where everybody was skinny and everybody was in Vogue magazine, we had a shift in the 80s and pretty about the mid 80s. There was a shift in fitness, and it became with body shaping and a bunch of other different people like Corey Emerson, Keena Toms, and Jane Fonda. Just a bunch of people pushed a different agenda on being in shape. And then during that process, we also started the emphasis of really what we call reality TV today, but it was at its baby stages. And one of the great shows was American Gladiator on those at the beginning. Ironically, is if American Gladiator had the social media that it has today, it probably would have been bigger and better than what it was then, because at that point we did not have social media. But however, I do have one of the great American Gladiators on the show today, and her name is Lori the Ice. How you doing?
Thank you. I'm good.
Hey, just had to put in a little context. Could you give everybody a little bit of background about yourself? Because the new age is and I always say this, the tomboys are the future right now.
That's right.
So can you give us a little bit of future about how you grew up and where you're from?
From San Bernardino, California, actually, right here, SoCal. I grew up the tomboy. I grew up playing basketball with my dad in the backyard, playing tackle football with the guys in the front yard, which probably, really set me up for Powerball. Thank God. But I was a jock. I was a little athlete. I did everything but run track because I hated running. And it's so funny. It's interesting because so many bodybuilders, a lot of women come from the field and track, era right there. And I just hated running, man. So I was like volleyball, basketball, softball. I was all of those kind of, give me something with a ball and let me play with it. Don't make me just run.
Hey, but you had the looks. You were also modeling, and you made a great transition. Did you ever think that you'd become an icon down the road? Because I like a lot of people. I mean, we all have history, and we all hit certain plateaus. But ironically, you are an icon due to a transition that the United States was going through when it came to health and fitness.
Yes, I hear you. No, I never in a million years thought about it. I never thought about it. And actually, I mean, to be honest with you, I don't even think that, I want to say like the fitness icon, yes, I'm 63, but it's kind of like I just came into my own, like really honestly in the last I'm going to say 3-4 years. It's really strange how things shifted. And I'm like, whoa, wait, I had to wait until I was in my late 50s to actually do all this. But it's perfect timing actually, because of the fact that yes, all of us, I am on the tail end of the baby boomer generation basically. And you're right. I mean, that's when I started with, Rachel McClish, and then Corey Everson came along and all these bodybuilders. So that's when I entered the scene, into bodybuilding. Right. And I remember looking at Rachel McClish going, oh my God, she's so amazing. And now we look at her and she'd probably maybe make it in the bikini. Possibly. I don't even know.
You hit a great point. That group, I mean, I look back, when I was looking at everybody that was in there, Gladys Portuguese, that whole crew, right?
Body.
Oh my God. You look at that group, and now you look at what we have now. And even when I just did the Tampa Pro, and me being in my 60s, going in there, seeing that group, it blew my mind. The standards,
yes,
where they're at now, the standards.
Yes.
Let's just be clear. But you know what? You are one of those people that's a standard bearer, because there's a boxer here in town. Her name is the Animal, and she boxes. She lost her belt, the WBC belt, so she's getting ready to go back and fight. It's the Jasmine. I love you. I always had you on my show, but she ended up playing lingerie football, and so she got into lingerie football. She told me before she became world champion boxer is because she watched American Gladiator.
Oh, Oh my God, that's hysterical. Wow. Okay, that would have been a different twist. Can you imagine all of us girls playing, playing Powerball and jousting in lingerie?
I know. I mean, just thinking. Okay, so maybe
We might have
America.
taken off a little
Well,
faster.
look, I know. Lori, I grew up in Europe, so for me, some of the things I think are normal, and most Americans' moral code think that it's out of norm, right? So,
Isn't that strange?
because growing up in Europe, everything's a little different, and
Yep.
so when they had lingerie football in California, and I actually used to live at March Air Force Base back in the 70s.
Oh, you're right there out there in San Bernardino area.
Yeah. So it's funny as I look at it, and I didn't see anything wrong with it, but it's just like, we have this culture in America at times, the counterculture in America, that I think they have issues with women being able to be who they are and express certain things. And the funny thing about it, in Europe, nobody cares.
Well, see, you're absolutely right. When I was over in England, and I saw some funny story. I mean, it was when we were doing the Gladiators, obviously we had an international show, at the very end. So we took our team over to England, and then we competed against like because Gladiators become franchise. So South Africa, Australia, all these different countries had their own gladiators. So we would go over to England. But my point was, I saw some of the commercials in England, and they were so super sexual. I was like, whoa, you know what I mean? I mean, seriously, for an American.
After 8 o'clock, everything's fair game in Europe.
And for American, you're like, oh my God, and it's like, wow, are we really prudes over here in America, in which we're not so. It's kind of like really interesting and funny all at the same time.
Hey, I call us basement dwellers, man. I said, I tell everybody,
basement dwellers.
I call it basement dwellers. We have moral code in public, and then and behind the closed doors.
Yes.
Basement dwellers. Don't get me. Hey, look, that's a whole nother segment.
That's a whole nother podcast.
I will get on my freaking soapbox on that one.
Yeah. And it was strange because if you go on Instagram now, and a lot of the IFBB pros and everything else, I mean, they're in their lingerie, right. They're showing their bodies, and it's going to be, super sexual, or it's not, or it's just going to be, or they're going to be like, hey, I'm just showing my body because I'm a IFBB pro.
Okay. So great point. So, and let's be clear. This is where I think in American society, where we have a big problem is, why should someone that puts a lot of work in, and I think a lot of people don't realize this, and my friends that work out with me now, even in they realize, damn, he goes in the gym, we're in there like 2-3 hours or whatever, but we're putting that work in. Why should you have to hide the amount of work? But it's okay to be overweight, and that's body positivity. And so I have a big friction point with this.
I do too. I'm right there with you, because I'll post things, and I have gotten out of my comfort zone, and I'm going to say that because, and the reason why we have to get out of our comfort zone is because of the fact that as women, we're like, oh my God, I'm going to be judged out there. If I put this out on Instagram, all these other people, all these women, they're going to judge me.
Forever.
And then you have to get out of your head and go, I don't really care what they think. But yet when I put something on my Instagram, and let's say that I have a workout video, and maybe I'm wearing a low cut, and maybe I'm showing some cleavage. Now that's going to sell. Let's just be real. You know what I mean?
No, I tell everybody that.
It works. It works. So
look,
anyway,
I have this conversation about marketing every time. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
My point is, that's okay. Is I don't get any bad comments except women sometimes.
Well, you guys are hard on each other than anybody.
Oh, unbelievable. They're like, really? I had one or two women out of like, I don't know, 2,000 comments, just one or two women like, really? Do you have to do this? Do you have to show your cleavage? Do you have to be sexual? You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, stop being a hater. And the cool thing is all my fans jumped on the bandwagon and went, why are you being a hater? Let her wear what she wants in the gym. Because most of the guys in the gym are ripping their shirts off and they're getting their pump on. Yeah. But the girls, oh, wait, we can't wear just a sports bra. And if the sports bra, like the one I have on right now, which covers everything, it's like, that's what the women feel. It makes them feel comfortable, I think, is really what it comes down to.
All right. So hold on. So let's just get to the down and dirty. Women judge each other harder than men do. So let's just get to the elephant in the room. And the thing is, if you're putting the work in, the worst thing that can happen is there's a comparison between whoever they're dating sees you and says, look, damn it, she's 62, you're 62. What's the difference?
Yeah.
What's going on?
It's
and
like, why don't you look like that?
It happens. That's a reality. It happens.
Yeah.
So,
and then it puts pressure on them.
Hey, well, you can't always eat Cheetos late at night. So let me ask you this question. I see you always posting videos like I kind of do on training and working out. So from a physical standpoint, you are not, you're like me, you're a few seasons older now. So what's your training regimen when you were on American Gladiator compared to now?
I'm going to be honest. It's the same, dude. I have not quit. I lift as heavy as I can. I'm always in my mind. It's progressive overload, so it's like one of these things. It's like, okay, if I'm not adding weight to the next set, or if I'm not, doing something for that progressive overload to really like push my muscles, then I don't feel like I'm really training that hard. So when I was back in the Gladiator days, I was training just as hard, or I should say today, I'm training just as hard as I did back in the Gladiator days. You can't give up. You can't let up. Actually, I have to push harder now, to keep the muscle, because as you know, and everybody knows in the world, it seems like the older you get, the harder it is to keep your muscle. It's hard to take in all that protein. I'm taking in about 150 grams a day if I'm lucky on that day. I know. And I mean, because I'm weighing, here's the deal. I'm weighing 140, 140, 141. And so I have to take in my body weight, and that's to hold it and to keep it. And even if it's hard to put it on even at this point.
Well, you said your body weight, and this is my big argument with a lot of people is I tell people when they say, oh, she weighs 140 or she weighs 130, but there's a big difference. And I tell my daughter, Tori, the one that played college soccer, there's a big difference being an athletic 140 and being an out of shape 140.
100%. Yeah, they're not the same. Exactly. They're somebody who doesn't train and puts in the time. So it's really, I mean, as we get older, I always say this, is you're going to laugh. I go, man, when I die and get up there, I'm going to look at God and say, hey, why couldn't you, if we train for 25 to 30 years, by the time we hit our 60s, why can't we just let it go? And you, God, we just get to stay the same. Right. So in other words, when you hit 60, whatever you look like at 60, you're going to stay there.
They say, right. And to get to that end, because I ain't gonna lie, what motivated me is I went to the Tampa Pro the year before I did it, and there was an 80-year-old man in there, and he was freaking shredded, and he was doing physique, and I literally said, hey, I'm doing that because if he can do it at 80, I know damn well I can do it at 60.
Oh, absolutely.
After I put down that last Kentucky Mule.
Well, see, it's funny because that's like when I did my show last November, and we were talking about knees and everything else before we got on here. And my biggest thing is I wanted to squat because I just wanted to keep my thighs and my butt and everything else. And,
right.
When I did the show, people were like, are you going to do another show? Are you going to do another show? I mean, I felt pretty good. I walked in after not really training for the show.
Right.
And I won my first show, which was the warm-up qualifier, which was nothing hard. Nobody was there. Thank you. But
hey, look. Hey, 1v1 still works.
Yeah, exactly. So then I went to the Nationals, the Masters USA, like a month later, and I placed fourth, not bad. But then again, hey, I was competing against 50-year-olds because the Masters USA in Vegas does not have a 60 over. So no, they don't. I was competing against 50 and over. So I would say the top 5, they were all early 50s. So
and that's when you're fit.
Yeah. And those girls have already been competing for, let's say, 5 years.
Right.
So their bodies were conditioned. So I just kind of jumped on that bandwagon. So I felt pretty good about placing fourth, with these girls coming in that have been competing for 5 and 6 years at 50. I was like, but my point is everybody's like, you're going to do another show. You're going to another. And I'm like, what? I'm just not. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm just not. And the reason why
it's the diet.
It's not even the diet. The diet I could do. I lost body fat in all the areas I didn't want to lose it. Face,
Gotcha.
boobs, and butt.
Oh, gotcha.
And trust me, at 60, when you lose that body fat in those body parts, your skin isn't 25 any longer. So it's not like, your elasticity isn't shrinking with as your body's shrinking. Your skin's out here, your body's here, and you're like, whoa, what's the disconnect here?
Right. Well, see, that's the problem with the men. I mean, with the lower belly fat, right? So I dropped down to 8%, but the problem was right by underneath my belly button, I had this sag.
There you go.
After I had, even though I had a six pack.
Yeah.
But I made the mistake of getting in the open class because I had never done it before and nobody could explain it to me. And if I'd have got in with the 60-year-olds, I'd have took second or first. I ended up going in with the 25-year-olds in the open class.
Hey, that's okay.
I got smoked, man. I came in 5th place. I got smoked.
Yeah, but that's pretty good. 5th in the open. I got to be honest. That's that, as you know. So at the same time, you still have to be proud of that, but you're right. So that little sag, that really messed with my head.
It does, because you see it,
man.
And even though you look good, you like, God, man, it's one piece. And it's like I tell everybody, sir, everything costs money. There are guys in there that were paying mad money for surgery that, I'm like, look, bro, that's just a little too much for me to handle, but we'll keep moving.
Yeah.
Well, but I was gonna go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay, so what I was gonna ask you, there was a couple questions, and one was like, how did you get selected for American Gladiator?
Oh, that was definitely a process of tryouts, because when the first American Gladiators really hit the scene,
right.
You had to go through tryouts. Sometimes some of the producers found a couple of gladiators in Venice Beach Golds, which that shit doesn't happen any longer.
Right.
But I watched the show and I thought it was a really cool show, and I was like, oh, okay, I can go try out for this. I had to actually find the production of.
You did.
Oh,
so
yeah. Oh, by the way, okay, let's date myself, and that is, there was no internet, there was nothing that I had to.
You had to beat
Yellow
the
Pages.
Yeah, that's right. Beat the streets. That's right.
Yep. And then I just found the production company, and I said, hey, how do I get on the show? And they said, oh, by the way, we're having tryouts in about a month. Show up at Universal Studios. And I showed up, and there was about 50 other, bodybuilding chicks there. And I thought to myself, okay, the one thing I have on these girls right now is I'm an athlete and I can move. Right. And the other bodybuilders, maybe again, let's go. Some of them were from track and field. Track and field, yes, you can be an athlete and you're running fast, and I get all that, but the agileness to move back and forth and the upper body strength to do the actual events, I had over them.
Right.
So I'm not saying track and field are not athletes, but I'm saying at this particular moment, I had an advantage because I did play so many other sports that had the hand-eye coordination with the ball and everything else, to where they didn't have that. And I knew it. So I took advantage of it. I took advantage of that.
And you're right. But here's the other thing about it is, you said you shot basketball, you did this other things, but you got to remember, American Gladiator is a prelude to CrossFit, man, or High Rocks. I mean, different things that you guys did. You caused yourself have to run. You had to tackle people. You had to Spartanize. You had to be a Spartan.
Vince, I wish I could agree with you on that. I know. CrossFit is a whole nother animal that I actually tried and went, oh, this is not for me.
No, well, I don't like to do the running. I don't do any running. I'll do the bicycle and I'll do the rower. But the running piece I don't do on the CrossFit. I don't do
it's kind of crazy.
So I mean, honestly though, do you do any of the other kind of competitions?
What do you mean by do I do any competitions?
Do you do High Rocks? Do you do Spartan?
No, I actually don't.
Let me be quick. Hell no, man.
I wish that I had the umph inside of me to go, yeah, I want to go do the Spartan race, or I want to do the mud buddy run or something like that.
The mud runner.
Okay, there you go. Every one of them has running in it, correct?
Yes.
Again, remember, I hate that part.
That's it.
I mean, I don't know what it is and maybe it is my knees. Okay, so maybe that's why I hate running so bad, is because I mean, my knees started bothering me when I was around 50, because I wanted to run on the treadmill, because I thought at that time, okay, running is going to lose weight, so I wanted to always run on the treadmill.
And
so the more I tried to run on the treadmill, my knees just killed me. So maybe that's why in my brain I'm like, yeah, I don't like any of those, because I can't do them.
Do you do the stair climber?
I do.
Okay. Yeah. Because that's where I ended up having to transition to the stair climber because I couldn't run on the treadmill. So that's just one of those things you run into as I guess we get older.
Oh yeah. The Stairmaster mill, the stair mill, however it is, you're watching. But yes, I did that a lot, actually trying to get ready for my competition.
All right. So, you talked about aesthetics earlier, and I want to touch on this. And I don't care what anyone says. The 80s was all about aesthetics. Miami Vice, Baywatch, it was all about aesthetics. You had pretty people on the show. So you throw me this boat about, I'm so athletic. But when you go back and look at the show, there's a lot of pretty people on the show. Come on now.
Oh no, there was a lot of pretty people on the show. And the funny thing is I remember one time they actually had a Playboy edition. And I was like, what? You're having these Playboy models that have never thrown a ball in their life and they're going to go against gladiators, Yeah, it was kind of ridiculous. At that point in time, though, they were grasping at straws just to get ratings.
But, you think about it now and if you had, if they had social media back then and where you're at now, you guys would be legendary.
Would have killed it. I mean, It would have been insane. I know.
So let me ask you this though. Okay, so how did you end up with the nickname Ice?
Came from the movie Top Gun.
You stole Val Kilmer's name.
Look at this. Okay, it was exactly that year when Top Gun came out when I actually made the Gladiators. So Top Gun was out and everybody was like Iceman and Val Kilmer. I remember somebody said, "Oh my God, he could be your brother." And we were just joking around and when I got the job and we were talking about names, I knew I had to come up with a name. Otherwise they were going to give me one that was just stupid. So we were sitting in the stands and I don't know, we were just, kind of spitballing. And I said something like, I said Iceman. And they were like, well, wait a minute. Why not just Ice? I was like, sign me up.
When you do your pivot, you pivoted from, what did you pivot after you left the show?
Dude, I have reinvented myself so many times over the years.
Let's talk about that. Let's go.
I have to keep reinventing. I have to keep, just hustling, to be quite honest with you, because our attention span in this world right now is about, that big. And so with the attention span, you do have to constantly, not keep up with the Joneses, but constantly, it seems like reinventing. And pivoting and what direction you're going to go in. And honestly, what direction's paying your bill. Yes.
And, she made a very great point to me one day. She said, Vince, look at everybody that's behind the scenes in my new movie. So I'm looking and we're on the phone. I'm like, yeah, I see him. She goes, think about this. Every one of those people will may never, ever work again after this movie runs.
True. 100,000% true. I
never thought about that.
I actually got some really cool parts, when I was in the acting industry. I'm still in the acting industry.
Bro, I figured you'd be in
you would never
in the Expendables. I thought you'd be in the Expendables.
Well, and it's because of the fact that it's like some of the shows that are on was great. And I was like, okay, this is the one. This is one that's going to put me over the top. This is the one that's going to, keep me rolling. And I'm going to get more parts and more roles. Doesn't work like that,
Wow.
And so once you hit one, okay, great, use it and, use it to your advantage of whatever you can get after that. But it's not like that. And she's absolutely right. You could have one big guest starring role and never work again. And a lot of that changed COVID. COVID changed a lot of that because before COVID, and I'm going to tell you this, this is one thing, and I talk about pivots and sliding doors and how your life is going to go. Right before I was doing auditions and we would go in person, and I killed it in person because they got to know me, they got to see my personality, and they, if they wanted some adjustments, they'd be like, okay, we'll try it this way. And I would do it and they'd be great. Boom, I'd get the part.
Right.
So COVID hits and everything went to Zoom. Everything. So now every audition, even today, every single audition is a Zoom audition. So you send your tape in. You could do it 1,000 times to get it right if you want to. But what they're not seeing is you in person, your personality, how you are. And if they have any direction, they can't give it to you. They don't know.
Right.
So you're now just this little square on their screen with 100 other actors
Trying to see one part.
I have not gotten one call back, and I'm not the only actor. I hear this all day long. I have not gotten one call back from any Zoom audition I've ever done. I just did recently a movie, but yet at the same time, I did the Zoom audition. I kind of take that back. I did the Zoom audition, and this is where you just kind of go, I haven't booked anything for so long. I don't even care anymore. Let's just rock it and throw this in and just do it. And that was my attitude. And I booked the movie, and I was like, sweet. And it was a fun movie. But here's the interesting part. They wanted me before I even Zoomed it. So it wasn't like an open cast Zoom audition with 100 other actors. That's kind of my point.
Yeah.
And then before COVID hit, literally 2 weeks before COVID hit, remember Glow, Glorious Ladies of Wrestling?
Yeah.
It was a series, right?
Right.
I auditioned for it for their very last season for a season character, reoccurring role, nailed it, got the job, got everything. And they were like, all right, well, there's this thing that's happening in the world and we're going to push it back a couple weeks called COVID. So we'll come back in when this kind of fizzles out. Obviously it never fizzled out. And so they canceled the show. Yes.
Whoa.
So and that's when you go, okay, what would have my life turned around if that didn't happen? Because I was going to be a series regular on that. You know, so that could have turned my entire life around. And it never happened.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, I never even think about that, and everybody blames COVID. And but I live in a free state of Florida. I hate to use that term because that's a joking thing.
Oh, no, we know Florida. I have a condo there that I own.
Don't care what COVID. We don't care. We're going.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of things were impacted, and I think Hollywood was one of the major industries that just really suffered. So, you made a major pivot, and you talk about reinventing yourself multiple times, and you do live out in Cali, which is where a lot of people have to do that multiple times because half my family lives in Altadena. Well, they're rebuilding in Altadena. I'll say that.
Oh, yeah,
now.
exactly.
So you pivoted to social media, and it seems like, because you popped up on my feed. So everybody, that's how I found Lori, because I'm friends with Wendy Fatino. She popped up on the feed because if you look, you do it, people pop in, so she suggested people. And then I saw that she had been an American Gladiator, and I'd never had anybody from American Gladiator on my show. So I was like, what the hell, roll the dice? What you got to lose? So you made your pivot to social media. How's that working? Because do you manage it, or do you have somebody manage it for you?
I do it all. I do all my social media. I don't trust anybody with my social media.
Fellas, you see, hey, ladies and fellas, you see, she manages her own stuff. No,
I mean, that's the whole thing. It's like I manage it all. I post everything. I mean, that is all me. And after we did a documentary called Muscles and Mayhem, and it was right after COVID. So that was what, I don't know, it was about a year or two after. Muscles and Mayhem hit Netflix, 5-part series, docuseries, amazing. This docuseries was so cool.
Yeah, who directed it? I mean,
it came out on Netflix. It's a Netflix docuseries, and it's called Muscles and Mayhem. And so when that came out is when I knew that it was going to come out, obviously, because it was a year before we filmed everything and it was coming out. And I remember on the docuseries, I said something about a podcast because somebody said you need to start a podcast. So I was like, all right, so I'm just going to talk about I already have it. So when it hits, obviously people go to my podcast. Right. So I started my podcast, Chilling with Ice. And then basically after that, to be honest with you, I told the other gladiators too, I said, guys, we've got to jump on this social media thing. Because if you don't have a presence, then let me tell you, I said, you're not going to go anywhere. That's what's happening right now. Social media is the ticket. If you do not have a following, nobody will look at you. They're like, yeah, whatever. And so I started my social media right away. And my very first social media that I gravitated towards was TikTok. And TikTok, actually, I started doing lip syncing. I started doing funny skits. And then, believe it or not, my TikTok took off. I mean, like, I got
it's
200
the ladies' platform, man.
dude, I
Y'all
got
be
like
killing it.
280,000 followers on my TikTok that just went nuts. And it was simply because of the fact that people were like, oh my God, she's funny. She has a personality. Nobody knew the Gladiators. Think about it. We just had a persona and that was it. But nobody knew us behind the scenes.
But it worked.
So that worked. And I really diligently started working on my social media, and I'd post like once or twice a week. And then all of a sudden I was like, how do I grow this thing? They were like, you got to post every day. I was like, every day? I said, I'm not that exciting as a person to post every day that somebody's going to want to see. You know what I mean? Because I think that's the mentality a lot of older people have. You know, when it comes to social media, they're like, I'm not interesting. What do people care about me? Why am I posting every day?
So you had to sell yourself.
I switched it. I started posting every day. Then I picked up a couple brands to endorse. And that's when it took off. I was like, oh shit, this is how it works. You know, I started endorsing V-Shred. Loved the company, loved the concept, everything. So I've been working with V-Shred for like 2.5 years.
Yeah, I saw something you had posted there when I went and looked at one of your things. So but those connections matter. So how's your network grown since you got on social media and people start doing a little bit of research, going back and looking at some of your old content? Because I think right now you're in the second coming of who you are.
Yes, absolutely. It's just a whole nother pivot, reinvention, where I'm going. You know, it's about the anti-aging. You know, I'm 63 years old. You know, this is what I do. You know, this is how I train. This is how I eat. These are the peptides that I take. I mean, all these things. And so it's like this, if anything, it's like, I want to be, if not, I've already kind of started to become a little bit the poster child for anti-aging for women, you know, and that's a pivot. And that's, you know, that's something that I truly believe in. And I always say that, you know, I'm all about the HRT, hormone replacement therapy for women. It's so important. And it's just, believe it or not, we're not even I don't even think we're there yet whatsoever when it comes to that for women. And so my social media is all about, I just want to inspire, and I just want to really hopefully motivate people to go, okay, wait, it's not late. I'm not dying at 60. This isn't the end of the road. I mean, shit, let's go 35, 40 more years if we can, but in good health, you know, and be able to walk. And so it's like pivoting in different directions. And, you know, and the big thing is that, and here's really what it comes down to, Vince, is I did an interview, and that is, everybody's like, well, you kind of really became famous on American Gladiators. Well, that fame doesn't come with a lifetime paycheck.
That's true.
It does not come with a lifetime paycheck.
Preach, say it, because people get that confused. They think because you're on TV,
people think I'm rich because I'm on TV. It's hysterical. Girl. You know, and it's like, no. If you watch the documentary, we were the most underpaid television show on the air. The residuals stop when they stop showing your show on the air, by the way. So they're like, oh, well, she's probably set up because, you know, the Gladiators and this and that. No. That's where the pivoting comes in. That's where the reinvention comes in. So it's like, okay, this is what I need to do on my socials. You've got to, you know, get yourself out there. So that's my point of, it's kind of like sometimes when you're hustling and you're doing the things, I actually went on to another platform as well. And I'm just going to tell you that, because of the fact that I'm telling everybody, because it's paying my bills and I fucking love it. I went on OF. I have an OnlyFans page, you know, and it's, people think, oh my God, OnlyFans porn. No. It's not OnlyFans porn.
I say, no.
Yeah, it isn't. I mean, people on OnlyFans have a fitness channel. It's just another platform to where you can engage with your fans and everything else. I don't do nudity, you know.
But but that's the problem. But once again, we go back to the basement concept of that we were talking about earlier in America, is that it depends on authenticity, right?
Yeah.
And so we here's the struggle, and everybody gets mad because I'm a retired general, and they're like, you have all these different people come. Man, let me tell you something. I'm gonna be out. I was Vince Buggs before I joined the Army.
Mm-hmm.
I think at some point in life we lose our authentic selves because we're so worried about the moral compass or what judgment of others. And then sometimes we're just damn good people.
Yeah.
And judge me for the good things I continually do, not because you've put me on some pedestal that I'm not going to meet,
Well, and I've heard some other, little back comments, and you're right. It's like the judgment and this, and it's just like, I have heard some really good comments though, about, okay, she went on OnlyFans. Dude, and they're like, well, here's my concept. It's like, I've worked my ass off for 62 years.
Right.
I have structured my body in a way that, to be honest with you, I don't see a lot of 63-year-olds looking like that. And if I can actually take that platform and make money on it at 63, I'm all for it. I am all for it. And that has been life-changing, to be honest with you.
All right,
because but it's not, look, so many IFBB pro women, you got to look at them and go, so what are you doing for a living?
Struggling.
They either have a fitness app along with the other million women out there that have a fitness app. And they maybe have 5 clients, let's say on the back end on their online, fitness app.
Right.
I mean, only a selected few have a great, amazing following for their fitness app. Okay.
No, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
No, you're absolutely right.
What do the rest of them do? I can guarantee what the rest of them are doing. Go to every single one of their profiles and look in their link, and you're going to see an OnlyFans link.
They got something in there.
Every single, I could name 20 of them off the top of my hand right now. And they're all like, oh my God. And then when somebody goes, oh my God, did you hear she has an OnlyFans link? It's like, come on. Are you kidding me? Don't be so judgmental. You're just pissed off that you don't look good enough that you can do it.
so Lord, you got this thing is women empowerment. So that you just gave me a perfect segue into women empowerment.
There you go. And it's women empowerment.
So women empowerment under feminism was, to give women the ability to control their bodies, the Me Too movement, all that stuff over the last 40 years.
Yep.
So this is where I kind of struggle on trying to understand from an outsider being a male watching women, right?
Mm-hmm.
You guys have developed your ability to create money, be your own entrepreneurs, be your own business people. Yet there's so much conflict between women because you may do OF or you may do this, and women have to be judgmental. But whatever happened to sisterhood, where like, look, we're going to support, we got to support this, we got to support that, because it seems like everybody cherry picks what they want to support.
No, you're preaching to the choir. You're absolutely right. I mean, this can go deeper than if you really want to go deeper. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole trans and the men going in the women's bathroom, and all of a sudden all these women out there that were burning their bras and they're all about, women's right. They're like, oh, that's okay. Is it? Really? Now you're picking cherry. You're kind of, and they're not coming out to anybody's. They're not coming to anybody's rescue whatsoever.
No,
they're just like, oh, okay, well, and it's like, no, that's not right. That's not right. And so you're absolutely right. Women cherry pick, and it's bullshit. Yeah. It really is. It's whatever fits their agenda. Whatever fits their agenda and makes them feel comfortable.
I have this conversation all the time, and in me having 2 degrees in history, I constantly go back and say, all right, so where are we at? Because at the end of the day, if you're going to argue with me, even in the military, when we were going through different transitions, and I'm saying, if you're going to protect women's spaces, let's just call it what it is, right?
Yeah.
Then what's their criteria? Because I've saw someone say, okay, we're going to protect women's spaces, but it's okay to have trans people in women's spaces. So then
That's not protecting women's spaces.
Well, but I go, okay. I said, but then you guys make an opposite comment about something else. Not you. You generalizing here, everybody. So it kind of, to me, there is like different groups within the female organization, the overall female archer, construct, who decide what's going to be acceptable and what's not. And that's where I think that to me is so confusing, because I have daughters and we have those conversations all the time, and they play college sports. And one of my daughters, we had this long talk about boys being in girls sports. And everybody knows I'm against it. They can be mad at me because I think they're protecting women's spaces.
Every girl that plays sports should be against it, because of the fact that we know how hard we have to work to be at the top of our sport. And there's no way that anybody could ever tell me, ever. And I'm going to tell you a story about that really quick. And that is this: men's genetics are stronger just because they're genetics. You have more muscle, you're stronger. It's just who the hell you are. Now, when we were on tour and we were doing all these promotions for radio stations and everything else, we were getting ready to do Madison Square Gardens, and there was this DJ, and he was probably he was only like maybe 5'6", 5'7". So he's like a little guy for a guy. Okay. And he probably weighed the same as I did, maybe, I don't know, 5 pounds more. And he's like, okay, we're going to take you on a joust. I'm like, this should be pretty easy. He's a little dude, no big deal.
Right.
That little dude whacked me upside the head so hard. I have never been hit like that before. And it was because it was from a dude, not another girl, a guy hitting me. And I was like, holy shit, whole different ball game. So I actually personally, felt this firsthand. And so I was like, absolutely not. It's not right. It's not fair. I don't believe in it. And I'm sorry that our world has gone to this side to where it's okay for guys to compete in girls' sports and the protecting the women's space. And it's like, you're right. Women cherry pick whatever they want, and it's bullshit. It really is. It's like, get a backbone, stand up for something that you believe in, but what it is, Vince, is they don't want to say anything because maybe their peers will judge them for actually standing up and believing what they really believe, so it's kind of sad.
I know. I mean, you make a great point, because I think a lot of times is in our society, when we're looking at how we evolve as people in the United States, I think sometimes we go backwards instead of going forwards. And
absolutely.
That's just my take. So, you look at, so you've really done a great job on your Facebook and on your Instagram of trying to help women over 40 find themselves in that journey and, find that empowerment. So how's that working out?
It's really working out well. Like I said, I've gotten so much support. People are coming, I'm getting more and more followers every day, and it's fun and it's exciting. The other thing that we're doing, because it's actually going so well, is I'm working with a group right now. We're trying to get it off the ground, but we have a mockumentary basically kind of about my life. And it's funny. And we're out there pitching it and trying to sell it. And
Congrats.
This is what I mean by, it's like, I have my hand in like all these different little hats, you know what I mean? Because of the fact that you just never know which one's going to pop. You never know which one's going to take off. And maybe one doesn't take off, but it's going to lead to something else.
But you can't be stagnant.
Yeah, exactly. So that's pretty exciting. But yes, everything has, everybody's, kind of really, my fans are great. I love my fans, to be honest with you. So many of them have known me and been with me for, since Gladiator days, 35 years ago. And they've watched my journey, which is really exciting and cool.
Well, I think social media and the internet really helps that. So let me ask you, since June's Men's Mental Health Month, and it's about mental health because we have, so how do you stay grounded and be resilient? Because we all go through things, even me coming out of being in the military and dealing with all kind of different things after being in combat. You as a person, your trials and tribulations of everything you've been through. How do you maintain your mental resilience?
You just have to you have to stay humble. You have to you're just another human being. You got to let go of that ego. You can't let that ego get too big, because that'll take over. Look at me. No. But you do. Even through Gladiators, I was very, I knew who I was. I didn't let the whole fame of Gladiators get to my head, because I knew one day I was going to end. You know,
Right.
if you keep it, if you're in your mind, you're like, hey, this is for, you know, what's the old saying, a day, a season. I don't even know, a day, a season, or however that saying goes. But my point is that I hate to say it, but nothing lasts forever. You
No,
know,
true. True.
so, you know, in a career, and so it's as much as we want it to, and we think it's going to. It's just, that's not life, and that's not reality. So the humbleness and staying grounded is, let's just make the best of what this is, and how we can really use this and maybe catapult to the next level. But you got to stay grounded. You got to stay humble, because that's it could be taken away like that. And I had
No,
gladiators taken away like that, you know, so I've
yeah,
already been there.
but you know, you got a new generation starting to watch it whenever it comes on, you know, certain channels, and you know, it's building a cultural a little kind of cult. Do you guys go to Vegas at any time and just, you know, like when they do Comic Cons or any of the cons, and go down and as American Gladiators and put on sometimes? Because I think the new generation is starting to see you guys, if they would just show the show and renew it, put it on MTV or whatever, because it's one of those things, is that it was a great show. It was it was ahead of its time, is what I believe.
It was kind of ahead of its time, but it was at the perfect timing for my life at that time. So now they did do a new show, just came out on Prime. I watched it. It looked like a video game to me. They did a pretty good job. They filmed it in France. They didn't even film it here, actually. It's interesting because the new generation, I'm not quite sure how they would take to the Gladiators, to be honest with you, because the attention span again. And if you look at so for instance, prime example, it came out on Prime about 2 months ago, the new Gladiator show. And I watched it, and I was a little bored with the games, to be honest with you, watching them again, because now everything has went to the extreme, you know?
That's
so,
true.
you know, The Rock came out with his type of show. I forgot, Ultimate Challenge or something like that. And so
Ultimate Challenge.
Every time a show comes out, the games get more extreme, more extreme, more extreme to keep people entertained. So when you go back, and so when they first opened up the Gladiator show on Prime, they started out with what we used to call whiplash, which was the dog bone. And I'm watching it, and I'll be honest, I'm watching it going, wow, I can't believe they started with this game, because it's so boring.
Right.
And I'm
of
like,
all the
that's
games
not gonna,
you guys had.
yeah, you know, it's like, out of all the games they had, they started with one of the slowest, boringest games. And I'm not quite sure if it was for safety reasons or what it was, but because the games are kind of slow and kind of boring, I think they went over the top with the new Gladiators. They went WWE Gladiators is what they did. So every gladiator is like, "Rawr," in your face. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Over the top.
The cool thing about us is usually what you saw on television is us. It was just our competitive fucking nature, you know, just we wanted to kick your ass. But now it's a show. Now it's so performance driven, to where, you know, I saw some of the girls they picked from WWE, and they're like 6 foot, weighing 185. How do you put that against a normal girl? You know, it's just kind of crazy. But
so, you know, so Lori, what do you think your personal legacy overall, you know, as you look back now, and I'm right there with you, so I'm in my 60s. So, and I had to do this reflection, so I'll throw it back on you. Is if you sit back, that's what we do. You know, I throw it back on you, is that when you look at your personal legacy, what do you want it to like kind of look like, you know, going forward? And at the end, did you like, you know, like that it was the best of times and the worst of times? I mean,
I know, right? The best and worst.
What do you want?
The funny thing is when people go, it's the best of times and the worst. Okay, well, we all have those ups and downs. Come on, that's just life. If you don't have the downs, the ups aren't that exciting. You know, you just got to balance them out like that. I just really want people to go, wow, she did her own thing. She, and like Wendy said, you know, in our interview, she interviewed me on a podcast as well. She goes, you kind of, you know, walk to the beat of your own drum. And I was like, yeah, I do. You know, I try not to really care what people think, you know, and the judgment and everything that comes with it. I'm just living my life on my terms, my dime, who I am, what I want to put out there. I'm hoping that people can take away from that and just go, wow, if she did it, I can do it. And I do know that it happens like that, because I've gotten so many emails and different things from fans across the board going, wow, you changed my life because you gave me permission to be the strong female that I wanted to be. But society at that time wanted me to be quiet and meek and don't make waves, you know? And I was like, no, that's not what life should be about. So what I'm hoping is just from my journey that people are watching, that gives them permission to do whatever the fuck they want. You know, let them live their life on their terms, how they want, you know, and that's really what I want. I want people to look back on that and go, wow, that was really cool of her, you know?
No, Laura, you're spot on, man. We can't live in a box. And I think that the biggest issue is in our society or in general is that you're trying to find your space. And I think as we go through life, we start to realize our space is who we decide to be.
Yes.
And so often, you know, Albert Einstein's, I love this quote by him: you can never solve the problems of today the way you thought in the past. And I think so far that we got to be vigilant of who we are. And, you know, you only get one shot at this. For me as a human being was, wow, man, there ain't no do-overs.
No,
this is, it's here and now.
Yeah.
And I'm in my 60s. It's here and now. So everything you just said to me from your personal legacy standpoint resonates with me, because the future is what you make it, and you got less time in front of you than you got a lot of time behind you. So with that being said, what parting words would you give any young people today who are struggling with everything that's going on, and regardless if it's government or it's mental illness? I mean, this generation's real. Let's be clear now. This generation is definitely not feral like the baby boomers and the Gen Xers. So
they're fragile.
Yeah. So what kind of advice would you give them?
Oh, stop being so fragile. It's almost like buck up, you know. Life isn't fair, but your life, you're gonna basically, it's oh God, give me 5 or 10 minutes on this thing. But my point is, to be honest with you, it's your life is whatever you make it. You know, you are the writer of your own story. And that's what I always tell people. You are the writer of your story. You have your beginning, your middle, and your end. You're writing it though. So you decide how it's going to turn out. It's your decisions. It's your resilience. It's your toughness. It's everything inside of you. And you have it because we all have it. We're born with it. If you can't find it, you got to dig deep to find it though, maybe. You know, the resilience and the toughness and all of that comes along with life. But yeah, I would not, I hate to say this and it's really sad, but I would not want to be growing up in this generation and being a teenager. I would not.
I tell one of my daughters that all the time. I'm like, damn, I'm glad I didn't grow up with y'all.
Oh, yeah,
life was more simpler. I said things were simple in the 80s.
Super
and the
simple.
70s.
I mean, we, as much as we love the internet and as much as we love right now, we're connecting and you're in another state and I'm in another, and we're connecting of it. And we love that part of it, but there's a downside of it where people are not connecting in person any longer. They're all connecting on the computer, and that's not a connection. It's not a connection. It's a physical connection in person when you meet somebody and you get to feel them and their personalities and their emotions all in one, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And so today it's just like they're very fragile because they're not going through that. They don't have going out on a date and having a heartbreak at the end of it or something like that. They don't have that because they're not going out on dates any longer.
I got ghosted.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many things that we actually, I think you and I we grew up in an amazing generation, an amazing time. Think
absolutely.
About it. We have gotten to see from our rotary phones to our cell phones now. We've got to live the life before all this, so that's the cool part about it. I love that.
Yeah, well framed.
I mean, there's so many things that you can say, as far as that and the legacy and what people should need to hear and everything. And it's honestly, it's just live your life on your terms.
All right. So if somebody wants to get in contact with you to get you to be their personal trainer, how do they get in contact with you?
It's all across, my socials are across the board, or Lori Ice Fetrick, and it depends on the social.
She says Fetrick,
Lori
guys.
Ice Fetrick. But so my IG is Lori Ice Fetrick. My TikTok's Lori Ice Fetrick. My OF is just Lori Fetrick.
You are who you are.
I am who I am across all the boards. You know, I made it kind of easy. And then yes, I have my Chillin' with Ice podcast on YouTube. I've got to be better at YouTube of putting on my shorts. That's the only thing. There's so many platforms, man. Like,
hey, look. Hey, I'll tell you, on your YouTube, just go do, me and one of my good friends, we were just talking about this yesterday. Go to Opus Clips.
Okay.
Pick your podcast, upload it on Opus Clips, and it will cut all your segments.
I love that.
Yeah. And it's like $30 a month, man.
There you go.
So that, hey, easy peasy lemon squeezy. Hey guys, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Hey, Lori the Ice Fetrick, she is an amazing person. And she says, hey, we don't judge. We're here to be who we are and to go where we need to be. And by the way, and I say that same thing in my new book called Keep It Rolling.
Sweet.
So if you get a copy of my new book, Keep It Rolling, from Award of Vision, it is all about who you are, who you are, and some of the things that you have challenges with. And just remember, she hit this critical thing that I will reinstate: you are not a victim if you take control of your life. With
there you go.
Said, Lori, thank you for coming on today.
Thank you. Thank you, Vince. Love it. Keep it rolling, baby. Keep it rolling.